Welcome to the eCommerce QueenBOSS podcast by So Here On Air, where you get every week clarity with your marketing strategy and alignment to build a thriving online business. Your host, So Here, is an expert in experience marketing and consumer psychology. She worked with clients ranging from startups to multi-million-dollar online businesses. The eCommerce QueenBOSS podcast is for the woman on a mission to build her own empire. And it's starting in 3, 2, 1.
Hello. Welcome to my very first episode of the eCommerce QueenBOSS podcast. Today I have the immense pleasure to dig deep in the PR topic with Queen Chioma, the PR professional, and we are covering what it takes for an e-commerce business to go from startup to worldwide online empire, and it's starting right now. Hello, Queen. How are you?
Hello, Sahar. Nice to be with you on this show. I'm so grateful that you have invited me.
My pleasure. I'm really excited to have you in here. And I'm sure the people who will listen will learn so much about you. So I'm just going to let you introduce yourself to our listeners here.
Perfect. Thank you so much to all of you eCommerce QB listeners. My name is called Queen Chioma. I'm an international motivational speaker, TV presenter in the UK. I'm also a PR media coach for women entrepreneurs, and I help women entrepreneurs. I help also beauty queens and models to break into the media and to attract good PR. And I really believe that it's one of the ways to take your brand to the next level.
Awesome. I like that a lot. So as you know, the eCommerce QueenBOSS podcast here is all about helping e-commerce entrepreneurs rocking their marketing strategy. And could you clarify for those who aren't sure what's the difference between marketing and PR?
That is such a great question. I believe the difference between PR and marketing is PR is really public relations. So it's how you relate with the public in terms of creating a good reputation about your brand and giving them a good experience and making, live audiences, or whether it's online audiences, think good things about your brand. And it's about credibility and reputation. So for example, if we have Amazon, let's say they highlighted in the media, in the news, for example, and they're saying that, Amazon have just had a boost in sales and they've made another £1 billion or whatever it would be, that's good PR. Whereas if they are talked about in the media in a negative way, and they say that the sales of Amazon are declining and, people are asking for refunds a lot or whatever it would be, that's still PR, but it's bad PR. So PR can be a good or bad thing. It can be it's meant to be positive. We would love for it to be wonderful all the time. And a lot of brands would want to always attract good PR, but there can also be the negative side to it. Yeah. And then when it comes to marketing is really about promotion. It's a bit like it's a brand selling its products and services, whether it's entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, whether it's a brand, a company. It's all about promoting products, services, the brand. And in a way, it's also about trying to have credibility, a good reputation. It's about trying to put yourself out there in a positive way. But this is more of like self-promotion or advertising, done for advertising, whereas PR is done through the media. It's the media promoting the organization or the person or the brand. It's not like self-promotion, basically. So that's the difference.
Okay, yeah, I get it. So, yeah, of course, marketing is where you actually pay for it and it's coming directly from the company, and PR is actually a third party who is like totally different and detached and give their honest opinion about what you're doing, right?
Exactly. With marketing, I guess there's some free marketing, like we can use things like Facebook Live and YouTube and so on and so forth. But usually there's a lot of investment that comes with marketing in terms of you have to pay for video software, you have to pay for, podcast hosting, or whether it be paying to be in a newspaper or something. But like you said, with media, it's like they promote you, they put you out there, and not just promote. They're not really just trying to promote you. They're just trying to, in a way, talk about you in a way where they're, in a way, highlighting what you do. They're putting you in the spotlight, basically.
Yeah. Awesome. And for example, for our DIYers in here listening to us, what would you recommend to a new e-commerce entrepreneur, for example, who's just starting with their PR efforts? What would you recommend to them to do?
Great question. I definitely think that you should, number one, have a media page on your website. And even if you have zero publicity for your brand so far because you're new, still have a media page, because you can still write, for all PR and media inquiries, please send us an email to info@... or whatever. Like, as in, you don't have to have anything there to have a media page. You just need to start by saying, if you're interested in booking me, or if you're interested in interviewing me, or for PR and media inquiries, please send us an email. Check back on this page for publications and interviews that will be here soon. Something like that. You know, like when a website, when someone has a website and they say website coming soon. It's a bit like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No problem with that.
Nice tip.
Yeah, sorry.
All right. And we like PR, we know it's all about pitching journalists and things like that. And I mean, how would you recommend to do this? And what is a press release?
A great question. I mean, yeah, it's definitely about pitching to the media. It's about following up and securing media interviews. And one of the ways to do this in terms of creating a press release, is really just to talk about what your brand is doing right now, and also where you intend to go. So it could just be a summary. Let's say, for example, you're about to launch a book. So the press release would be to write in a way, probably about 1 page long, as in a 1-page write-up about the buzzing, the excitement around this idea of you launching a book. So let's just think about when Apple dropped iPhone 10 and iPhone 8. It was all about, like, we're releasing this as the best product since sliced bread. This is going to be amazing. It's powerful. This is what it can do. And this is when it drops. And, get ready for this. So in a way, it's a bit like a news report saying, this is what we're going to do. This is what we intend to see happen. This is how it's going to work. My book is dropping on this date. I'm excited. This is what you can expect from the book. We're going to do a book tour and these events. And if you want to have us on your show, or if you would like to interview us, or, collaborate or whatever, then this is how you can get in touch with us. So it's a bit like just some kind of a news report in a way, but not a post report, but more of a as in telling them what's going to happen, not exactly saying this has already happened. But in some cases with your press release, it will be a statement of what's already happened as well. So it could be, if we think about when Kate Middleton gave birth from before with that other baby, she could, if they wanted to do a press release on that, then it would be like, Kate Middleton has given birth, and so on and so forth. So they can talk about it. The media may talk about it, or a PR person may talk about it, or whether it be they wanted to, they can do their own official official announcement, basically.
Announcement,
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Awesome. And e-commerce is, the world of internet is full of different websites that you can buy stuff from, right? But when an e-commerce owner is just starting out and they feel like, okay, they're drowned and they're not sure how to stand out, how can they use PR to actually stand out?
That is such a great question. I really think that one of the ways they can do this is to really, in a way, try and grab hold of the unfair advantage of most entrepreneurs won't bother to put themselves out there into the media, because they'll say, I'm going to wait until I get to a certain point, and when I start making maybe 6 figures, or maybe when I make my first 10,000, then I'll start to the media. But really, I believe that you can pitch yourself as a rising star. You can even tell them that you're about to drop a website. I mean, you can start being in the media as tiny. A person can have a brand, or they're about to have a brand, and that is still news in itself. So I definitely think that one of the ways to stand out is just to tell the media what you're about to do, or tell them that you're doing it, that you're a beginner in this, you're a newbie, you're in a way, they call it like, well, the media will call basically when someone, they'll call it like a rising star or up and coming or something like that, like up and coming artist, up and coming entrepreneur, so something like that would be good. And just put yourself out there and try and get some small local media interviews. It could be on some small podcast. It could even be a friend of yours that has a blog. Ask her if she'll feature you. Get some even if it's tiny, where there's only 5 people listening, it doesn't matter. Get some experience, and then your confidence will grow to be able to start doing bigger and more powerful media interviews, speaking gigs, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. And this is true what you said, when not a lot of people are bothering with PR, because I think that a lot of people don't really know what it is. And they have this vision of it to be like really hard to pitch a journalist to go on a story, and then they might be scared that actually the story is not what they were hoping for and things like that. And yeah, I just like what you said. That's really, really interesting in here. And you're welcome. All right, so is there any steps to follow to create a good and basic PR marketing plan to start with, something that will start showing results for e-commerce owners?
Yes, most certainly. I definitely think it would be to have a kind of PR media game plan where you have this idea or this vision of 52 weeks in the media. It doesn't mean that you're going to definitely have 52 weeks in the media, but I mean, have a 1-year plan. So the first and most basic thing that I teach my clients in one of my programs, I have a program called the Celebrity Female Entrepreneur in You.
Oh, nice.
And one of the things I thought in one of the modules is this idea of the 52 weeks in the media plan. And what this is all about is, if you can think like a smart business person or as a smart customer, even think in the minds of how your customers think, what's going to be coming up in the year? Think of all the activities, the events, the traditions, and, so if we think about it, we all know that there's, January is going to be New Year, New Year's Day. That's the first thing. Then it's going to be Pancake Day in the UK is one of the small things that come up. We have Valentine's Day. Yeah, I think it's Pancake Day, then Valentine's Day, or vice versa. Then we have, for example, Mothering Sunday. Then we have Father's Day. Then we have, we have Easter. I think Easter's before Father's Day. But the point is, if you just get crystal clear of like, okay, what are the 15 events coming up all throughout this year? Things like Women's International Day, Black History Month, whether it be Eid or, just think what is coming up. And then if you can actually create, number one, blog posts, or whether it's video content around those activities, around those festivals, around those
the celebrations,
celebrations way before they even come up. So it could be, you can reach out to the media and say, hi, I would love to do an article for you, like a blog post, talking about, like, for example, something that's way down the line. And that's how you're going to secure the media interview quicker, is if you give them something that's actually related to what goes on in society. Because everyone's going to be thinking of, I want to talk about my business, I want to talk about my brand, I want to talk about the 5 ways that you can sell more through social media. I want to talk about the 16 ways that you can be a boss babe of your dreams, or whatever it would be. But really, people forget that, why not talk about what's actually relevant to what's going on in the world? And if you can cover things like that, like, I'm going to give the 15 ways to have the best Mothering Sunday ever based on my experience of being a mother for 17 years, or whatever it would be, that's more appealing to the media, because they know that, hold on a minute, Mothering Sunday is coming up. We need to prepare for that. And this can be a great way for us to cover Mother's Day without having to kind of go out of our way and prepare something. Now we've got this, this wonderful lady, she's putting this out there, this wonderful entrepreneur. Let's go with that, because that's definitely coming up. Let's put that on the calendar. So I think if you can, even for your own business, as in you can use this as part of your own campaign. So it could be, I know there's going to be Women's International Day. Let me organize a seminar or a workshop for women around that time to celebrate Women's International Day. But people are more likely to come if there's a reason to come, if they think, it's just to celebrate women. But if it's just, let me come to your workshop for no reason, it's like less appealing than if there is a reason.
Yeah, I like what you say. That it is so true. That's also something that I try to coach my client on. I mean, I try to make them understand how important the celebrations around the year are, to even go with your marketing campaigns and link whatever you're selling to whatever is happening in the calendar, right? Because this is how you will stay relevant to people's lives, and they will actually want to come together and celebrate with you. You know, it's about an idea, it's about a belief, it's about a cause, it's about something that's beyond just consumerism or buying something, you know. So yeah, I really, really like that idea.
Especially, exactly.
Yeah, sorry, you were saying?
No, sorry, I was going to say, especially when we live in a world where, like, you know what I really love? I love when a company sends me a message on, think about Facebook, for example, when it's like they come up with this idea of friendiversary, or when it's your birthday, they have like a little video ready for you. And it's like, yes, I feel it makes you feel special. When I receive an email from a company and they say happy birthday to me, or when they say something like happy Father's Day, or we want to wish you a great Valentine's Day, and they don't sell me anything, but they just focus on that. I mean, even if they sell me something, it's fine. But if they just sent me an email saying, we just want to appreciate you on this day, happy Valentine's Day, we hope you have a day of love, or happy Christmas or something, honestly think they're geniuses. I'm like, wow, you have taken the time to remember that Christmas is coming up and you've sent a lovely Christmas message without any strings attached. It's just love. And that makes me think that that's a smart company.
Yeah, definitely. I had that. You said it all. For me, you said it all.
So did you?
I agree totally. And for people who, because we know PR takes a lot of time, and you mentioned having a plan over the year and things like that. So what if one of our e-commerce queen boss listening here, it just doesn't want to really bother doing that herself, and is too busy scaling her business and things like that, you know? So what would you advise to our listeners here in terms of working with a PR? How does it work? And give us your tips.
Well, that is such a good point, because I think if in that case you can hire a publicist, which I do recommend, because I actually do that myself. Like, as in, I don't hire publicists, but I do publicist work. So I have a lot of my clients that book me, they actually do receive, I pitch to the media on their behalf and try and get the media interviews, speaking gigs. I help them with their campaigns. Some of them do things like book launches. Some of them just want to be more visible because they already have clients and money, but they want more of the legacy, to build the legacy and the influence. So in a way, you can hire a PR person to do this, as in a publicist can do this type of work for you. They can be pitching on your behalf and helping you to secure media interviews, just the way that you would hire a VA. But obviously with a publicist, they are an expert. They're not just, an assistant. So they have a level of quality that they're probably going to bring to your brand, and they can help you to get results. The thing that I would say is it's not necessary to have a publicist, especially if it is. In a way, I kind of believe that entrepreneurs, if you don't want it bad enough to be able to bother to reach out here or there, even if it's just once or twice a month, then I don't honestly think you want it bad enough. As in, I think that maybe you don't actually care about PR, because it's a bit like Mariah Carey or Justin Bieber just forgetting to sing or forgetting to go on the stage. Like, they're obsessed with this. It's like it's their life to sing. And of course they do other things. They do go on social media, but they've made it like their life. And I think that if you don't feel compelled to want to be in the media, then maybe it's just not the right time. So what I would suggest is, if you do want to be in it, but you think, I don't have the time and everything, what it probably is best to do is it's best for you to actually find a way to add it to your schedule. As in, it could be something that you book into your calendar, just the way that you book in a discovery call, or the way that you book in to post on Facebook or whatever. Put it in the calendar. It could just be done once a month. You can reach out to 20 organizations, like 20, they call it media houses.
Yeah.
So you can reach out to them, and you can reach out to them through social media these days, like Instagram them. Sometimes I've reached out to BBC through Instagram, and I'm like, hi, my client's interested in being on your show. Can you please give me your email? and they get back to me, oh, this is the email, this is amazing. Yep, send us an email. So sometimes we shouldn't worry too much about adding it into our weekly calendar or our daily life, but more of like, when will you do it? So it could be, yes, I'm busy, life is busy, entrepreneurship is, it's demanding. However, the truth is you can only go so far if you don't have the PR. So I think if you think more of what is the consequences of not having PR, then you'll probably take it a bit more seriously. Because, I mean, there has been no brand that's ever really got to that big level. Yeah. And in fact, with the whole idea of wanting to sell more, sell products, sell services, sell courses, sell online ebooks and so on and so forth, how can you really sell to the masses to the level that you want? I'm sure that many of you listening would want to sell thousands of this, or whether it's, I mean, I've got a course called the PR Media Bundle, and I know for sure I don't want to just sell 5 of that or 10 or 50. I want to sell thousands. And if I sold millions, I would be like, oh my goodness, I'll be so amazed. So if you really want to take yourselves to the next level, how can this really happen when we get like 200 video views on live stream, or it's just so, of course you can get a few sales that way, and it's wonderful, and sometimes you can make thousands and if not millions on just using social media alone. But I don't know anyone that's been successful just using social media. I've noticed that they combine it with the PR. So Gabby Bernstein, she's doing a lot of live speaking gigs, that's PR. She's doing a lot of media interviews, that's PR. Marie Forleo, she did a ton of media interviews. Let's think Mariah Carey. She doesn't just do the touring and the songs that she creates. She actually does a lot of media interviews because they know that if she doesn't do that, who is going to know about this album? Who is going to buy the album? Who is going to buy? And then that's how you get a very a big drop of sales or very small sales when it's not well marketed. And that's why, even down to the Kim K herself, Kim Kardashian, the minute she drops with that makeup line, she's often she's out there on TV, and going to speak as many places as possible, because she realizes that this is the difference between 2 million sales and 40 million sales.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly that. And next question, in terms of budget for any QueenBOSS, e-commerce QueenBOSS listening here, who's planning to actually work with a PR, what would you recommend then to plan for in terms of budget and expenses?
Great question. I definitely think it would depend. So if they wanted to do something like a media kit, some of them charge up to even £800 or dollars for this. So I definitely think it will start from about 400 English pounds, or let's say I think it will be about $600 and going forwards. However, it depends, because if it's a group coaching program, for example, it can be as simple as $500, maybe a 3-month payment plan would be included in that. So you can be spending like 100 and something for 3 months just to figure out the whole PR thing. And they usually give you like a list of companies you can contact. So it's, in a way, you're kind of being handheld to achieve the results that you want. But then if you're doing it solo and you want to hire a publicist, it could definitely cost anything from $800 or £800 all the way up to like $5,000. We're talking, it just depends on the level, and it depends on the kind of exposure you want, and also the package. I know with me, I have mini courses that are like $25, where I just teach entrepreneurs how to get, TV interviews, how to be on podcast shows, how to get TV, all of those good things, speaking gigs and all of that. So I've got like different mini courses that I've created, just because I know that not everybody's ready to go at that big level. And some people want to do it themselves. They want to DIY it. But some people, if they want the PR media coaching plus the publicist work, then they definitely need to be investing at a higher level. So, I mean, my lowest package is literally $2,987. And that is for just 8 weeks of coaching. So it's funny because the value is something in a way that, I mean, one magazine feature can be like absolutely life-changing for any person that has a brand.
Yeah.
I mean, someone can go in one magazine and that could be it. I mean, Oprah, somebody can go on Oprah and that's it. They're never going to be the same. Their brand will never be the same. And in fact, they may secure 10 other interviews as a result of being on that. Yeah. Absolutely. So that's why, in a way, PR is worth it. Mm-hmm. And you could always start with a basic package, but I definitely think it's worth it if you know your brand is ready for that. If you're ready for it, if you're ready to do some media interviews, definitely. I mean, if someone's busy promoting you and putting you into the media, and then you secure 4 media interviews by the end of that, or even if it's 10, or even if they just know about you, it's still making you 10 times more relevant than your competitor or than others that are not bothering to put themselves out there through a PR person.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly that. I mean, as we said earlier, not everyone is interested in that, but there's also the fact that, as we mentioned before too, is that, okay, this is an investment just as much as marketing, but what's the cost of not investing in that? And I think that if an entrepreneur is not taking time to do at least a little bit of PR on the side by themselves, is that they're just really holding themselves back.
Exactly.
Especially for e-commerce entrepreneurs here listening to us who really have a lot of stock to sell. And I mean, I'm talking about especially the people who have factories and are also selling online, but also the one who are drop shipping, that the quantity doesn't really depend on them to do. It's not their hour that they are putting into building their businesses like this. But if they have like actually a factory that is able to produce in really high quantity, then they should definitely go for PR, because this is what's going to help them grow really fast and liquidate the quantity and things like that. So yes, absolutely. Like, as I said, the question is, if you're not investing in PR or marketing, how much is this costing to your business? Like, literally, right? So that's great.
That's correct. And I hope you don't mind if I add something to what you're saying.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think that there is nothing worse than, in a way, stagnation, or when there is just this block and business is not moving forwards and sales are not coming in. It is actually quite, in some cases, depressing for some entrepreneurs to invest so much in these products and services. And then, imagine if you have, like with what you're saying, if one of your listeners right now, imagine if you have this, you have this big bulk of stock that you need to really sell, or you want to sell, and you're expecting to sell 500, or whether it be 5,000, and then let's say you sell 3. I mean, that is actually like, it can be very heartbreaking, because you put so much time and energy and effort in, and then in the end it's just like 2 or 3, and that is not healthy for your business. So I definitely agree with what you're saying about the whole idea of what is it costing you.
Yeah, to reach. It's exactly that. Because I know I've seen that happening a lot. And what's happening after that is that the entrepreneur, especially doing e-commerce and selling physical product, is that you find yourself with so much stock in the hand, and you don't know what to do, and it's actually costing you money, especially if you have a lot of stock, because you have to store it somewhere. So one way or another, you're still paying for something. So either you're paying for the storage of whatever you have, or you're investing in PR and getting rid of that, and actually have a flow in your business and having more sales and having new product and things like that. I know a lot of e-commerce owners get stuck with stock, right? So that is for sure. And then what's happening is that they don't know what to do with it, and they get to the point of desperation of just wanting to get rid of it.
Exactly.
And they actually lose money by dropping the prices and things like that. And then what's happening in that is that, first of all, it affects their confidence, because they, as you mentioned, they worked so hard on it, but they trusted this idea of building their own e-commerce and selling things to people. And then it affects them mentally, where they actually think, I'm not able to do this, I'm not as good as I thought I was. And that's like, that's really, it's a shame, really. And so The point in here is to really, and I know a lot of other e-commerce entrepreneurs also that it's not really working for them because they don't really have a plan in terms of marketing or PR. So what they're doing is that they are actually starting to dabble in other businesses and try to hustle and make money any other ways possible while still keeping afloat their e-commerce. And I see that a lot happening just because they don't have a proper marketing and PR plan in place that they are actually actively working on, right? So that is like, it's a cliche. It happens to so many e-commerce businesses. And so that's why I just really want to, reiterate the importance of PR and marketing and things like that, because that's exactly what will keep the business not just afloat, but make it thriving, like literally.
Exactly. And it's so, it's when, like, for example, one of my clients at the moment, I'm putting her out there and pitching, and you get to a point where it's like, oh, the media interviews are coming and you've got to fill in all these forms, applying. And then you get to a point where you sort of get past the sort of in-between place. And then it's like, oh, yes, you can feel it coming. Like, oh, we're going to get 4 interviews. I can feel it. And then all of a sudden they get booked. Like one of my clients, she got 3 podcast interviews. She had a magazine feature and a blog interview. And this all happened within, by the time but within about 4 weeks, we started to see this all get booked in. Yeah. And it's just so, and one of the things that I really love about this as well is sometimes, Queen Boss is listening right now. You might be thinking, oh my goodness, I keep on talking about my product, my products and and you might feel as if like you're just a parrot that's just going on and nobody's even listening, and there's crickets and there's just, it's like you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall. But what happens is when you get a media interview, it kind of interrupts. It's like a pattern interrupt, because it's like posting on social media, sending emails, and then all of a sudden, ta-da, it's like this media interview comes up, and then everybody listens to it, or they watch it, and they're like, wow. And then all of a sudden, the focus that was wherever it was now starts to come back to your business. And they're like, I'm going to buy that right now. Because everybody loves to be associated with good things. People love good things. They love money. They love success. They love when a woman is pregnant, all these types of things. People love parties. People love good things. So when they see your brand shining, oh, yes, they're going to want to be associated. They're going to be like calling you, oh, my goodness, well done. So tell me more about that product again.
Yeah.
And that's how it will happen for you. People will, instead of you trying to force them, not that you're forcing them, but trying to convince them, they will be just running to like, and sometimes they'll be buying things while you're doing your media interview, if it's live, by the way.
Oh, yeah, true. Very true. Yeah, absolutely. So definitely 100% agree on that. And it's, as you mentioned, it's not about like trying too hard and running after customers and chasing after customers and trying to really, have more and more and more and more, but it's not really happening. Is like you reverse the engineering, right? You make people come to you instead, and it's so much easier and it works better and it just makes sense. And this is exactly what makes the difference between the startups and $1 billion business worth, So this is how the biggest companies do it, and there's a reason. It's like what I'm trying to also explain to people who I'm coaching and my client and things like that is that you can start as a startup and finish as big as Apple because they did it and so many others did it too. So why not you? You just need the right strategy.
Exactly. And most of you listeners right now, you don't actually know your potential, in the sense of you might be the next Richard Branson and you may not know. I'm sure that as much as everybody has a dream, some people, yes, of course, they made it, but they may not have realized. And a lot of people that have made it have said they didn't know they were going to make it. Think about, the founder of Spanx. I mean, Sarah Blakely, she may not have known that when she puts out this goes for it, in the sense of, okay, let me create this product called Spanx. I'm sure she didn't really know that she was going to become a billionaire. I mean, it probably was like everyone says we want, I'm going to be a millionaire, but sometimes it can seem like a fantasy. But when many of you listening right now, you may surpass some of these people. You may be friends with some of these people one day because the product may take off in ways that you could never imagine. So definitely give yourself all the chance that you and your product deserves. As in, don't just like hide it away and keep it safe and hidden away. Because like Sahar said, you will actually end up with a lot of stock that you're probably going to have to just throw away, and it would just be so like not fair because you deserve so much more.
Amen, sister.
Amen.
I like that. I like that. Listen, Queen, thank you so much for your time in joining us in the e-commerce Queen Boss podcast. For the people listening to us, where can they find you?
Yes, indeed. You can find me on my website, which is definitely one of the first places to find me. That is www.queenchiomamedia.com. I'm also on Facebook, and my Facebook is facebook.com/Queen Chioma Nworgu, which is spelled N for November, WORGU. And I also am on Instagram, and that's @Queen Chioma.
Awesome. I'll plug the links and things like that in the description. Anyways,
thank you very much.
You're most welcome. Thank you. I'm so excited. We had such a great conversation here, and thank you again. All right. I hope you liked this podcast because I have really loved this conversation. And if you did enjoy, please make sure to let me know by leaving a review in iTunes. I will be forever grateful since it will help this podcast ranking up in iTunes and allow more people to listen to it. And of course, ensure that I keep sharing more goodness with you. One more thing before you go, if you are interested into knowing more of what it takes to attracting more customers into your e-commerce website and turning them into buyers, I have something amazing for you. It's a 3-day mini course called Make It Rain, and it will help you build the know, like, and trust factor in your e-commerce so people are attracted by your e-commerce and feel comfortable buying from you. So I will plug in the link in the comment box right below. And last but not least, if you're looking to connect with other Queen bosses just like you, make sure you jump into my e-commerce QueenBOSS Society Facebook group. Again, my name is Sohera, and it was an absolute pleasure to serve you today. Until the next time,